How was bye week for you guys?
It was good. It was good to get healthy and just to work on the little details that make us a good team.
Looking at the Loper offense, what are the things that you guys have noticed about them as you've gone over their game prep, and what do you think they're going to run against you guys?
Well, their QB's a playmaker. He does a good job of scrambling and making plays with his arm outside the pocket. So when he does scramble, we seem to lock onto our receivers and make a play on the ball when the ball's in the air.
Vince?
You see it, Tyler, a lot where not just at the D2 level or the D1 level, there's just a lot of more mobile quarterbacks in the game of football. Does that make it maybe not fun for you, but how do you prepare for a quarterback like that where each quarterback has their different ways of, like you said, rolling out of the pocket, finding those things? How do you prepare for a quarterback style of play like that when it seems like it's just more often than it probably was just a couple years ago?
Well, it's definitely challenging to play a quarterback that can make plays with both his arms and legs. We need to make a effort to play sound defense and just to play our defense and just to execute each play.
Okay. And man, when you look at just the whole season right now, you guys are 6-1, sitting really good right now, coming off that bye week. Now that it's the second half of the year now, technically, what are some of those things that you guys want to hopefully accomplish before the regular season ends here in just a couple weeks?
Obviously, our goal is to accomplish a conference championship, and to do that, we need to just attack every day the same way with the same mentality to get better, to improve. And I think if we do that, we can be a good team overall.
And just for your perspective, this defensive group, right? You guys are one of the best in the nation right now in terms of interception, and then I think some other categories. How much fun are you guys having as a group when it just seems like it's a well-oiled machine every time you guys step on the field?
It's very fun. Obviously, it's better to make plays than not. So, right now we're just having a great time just playing together as a team. Last week we didn't play the best that we could. So this week we're just focused on playing back to our first 5 games and just to have a good time.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Landon.
Hey, Tyler, how do you guys avoid the trap of knowing that UNK is a team that's supposed to be towards the bottom of the conference?
Every team, obviously we approach every game the same way with the same mentality that each team is different, and each team has their own set of challenges that we need to prepare for. So we seem to go into this game with the same mindset of to get better, to stack each and every week, to improve, and I think if we do that, we can find success this game.
During the bye week, on the things you guys need to do to get better?
Just stayed with the same mentality that we always have, getting 1% better. Try to do that every practice. Stay focused on our goals, stuff like that,
Lopers on defense, what are the tendencies that you guys have noticed about the way that you think Nebraska-Kearney is going to try to defend you guys?
They're a good defense. They make you earn everything. They're really good in the red zone. They're really good. Coach Cash always says that you can tell a lot about a defense based off the way that they defend extra points and field goals. And I'm pretty sure that they're the best in our league when it comes to that, and blocking field goals and blocking extra points. I'm pretty sure that that's something that they pride themselves in. And it's really what their defense is like bend but don't break, make you earn it, and then, play their style and that type.
Obviously, you get to have a little fun after touchdowns this year, doing chest bumps on the sideline with Tegan Terhune. But it's a little bit different this year, obviously, as it's been raising money for suicide prevention. What's it like to be a part of something that's raised, I think, so far over $3,000 towards such a great cause?
Yeah, it's something super cool. I tell all my family about it. I'm really honored to be kind of a part of that, be a part of the team, of course, because it's the team that's raising it. But, do it kind of in tandem with Tegan. It's been something really cool. I've been really honored to do it here in my career.
Vince.
Carlos, you have an offensive line or really an offense that has, 10, 11 guys back. Just when you think about the success that you guys have had so far on offense, right? No Braden per se. You obviously have Gunner and Chase has stepped in really well. Just what's been working for you guys in terms of the offensive scheme that, has made you guys 6-1 so far?
I feel like when we're a big rhythm offense, and so when we kind of stick to the things that we do around here, which is, the short routes, the screens, running the ball, gap scheme, and we can get into that rhythm and use our tempo. I feel like that's the biggest factor in our style of offense, is getting in our rhythm and getting the defense off of their rhythm and making them kind of, feel that tempo a little bit.
I'll ask you this, man. How important is it to have a guy like Coach Cash Dollar, or a coach that understands what, because obviously he played at that level himself. So what's that like to play for a guy like that who understands offenses so well, understands teams differently and what they throw at you? What's it like having a coach like Coach Cash Dollar?
It's a blessing. Of course, it's a challenge as well. Having someone who demands he just demands a lot from you as a person, as a student, and as an athlete. So it is a challenge, of course, but I think everyone here at Emporia State is glad that Coach Cash is on our side, and his seriousness, his attention to detail as well. It's a huge thing. I feel like I've grown a lot under Coach Cash's mentorship.
One last thing for me, when you look at the last 4 or 5 games that you guys have, what's obviously this game's important, all games are important as you keep going forward. What are some of those things that you guys want to focus on the last 4 or 5 games of the year, and hopefully get to where you guys want to be?
We want to focus on, like, as a team, as offense, just in general.
As an offense, or offense as a whole, whichever.
I mean, as far as the O-line room, we're always trying to be more dominant, more physical, get more knockdowns. So that's something that we're, continuing to try to do, as any offensive line should, is just continue to dominate. Our offense is just trying to maintain that rhythm, get in our flow, get in our tempo bag. That's our biggest weapon, and that's what we see a lot of success with. And as a team, it's just stay focused, stay locked in on the next week, the next opponent. Coach Higgins always says, fear none, respect all. And I feel like that's true in our league because, not to watch the scores or watch the game results, but it really is, you can lose to anyone, even if they're at the bottom of the conference. You could, you know what I mean? It's a challenge every week. Our conference is really stacked, so just that, staying focused, being intentional with our mindset and our mentality.
That's all I got, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Landon.
Carlos, what's something you guys, as an offensive line group, got done during the bye week that you maybe wouldn't have during a regular week-by-week schedule?
To be honest, just to be totally upfront, I missed a few days during the bye week. I went back home. It was my grandfather's funeral, so I missed a little bit of it, but I know that that some of the dudes here on some of the practices here, they were real tired and they were surprised of how much work we're putting in, and it's just because we're still attacking, still trying to get better, doing all kinds of drills, all kinds of technique stuff, mental processes stuff. So I can't really speak to exactly everything that happened into the bye week, just being honest, but I know that they attacked it and that they were very intentional.
Just overall, using the bye week, how do you feel like you guys took advantage of the time off?
Well, I think we had a good plan. I think we took advantage of it. I hope it worked out good for us. I mean, I think that just the physical grind of playing in this football conference, being after the 7th game, it was a perfect place to have an open date. So, we were able to work with our younger guys last week, while giving some of our older guys not necessarily time off, but where they just weren't banging as much. We're able to get some reps with guys that maybe were on the travel squad that they don't get in and don't really have a role offensively and defensively. They might be on special teams, but be able to get them some reps, more reps, and practice. And then, of course, we practiced 3 days last week, and then the last day we were able to let some of our younger guys scrimmage a little bit, let them have some fun. Because, after camp, those young guys, the red shirts, they all go and they're on scout team. So it was our opportunity to spend some time with some of those guys, and hopefully that it did us some good in all areas.
Hey, Coach. Last week you said, of course, you're in a good spot, 6-1. Obviously, you would hopefully love to be undefeated at 7-0. But now these next 4 or 5 games, whichever you have on your schedule, what are you telling the guys right now that, hey, yes, we have Kearney first. What are you kind of talking to them right now as you guys hit the second half of the year?
Well, I think it goes back to that last week before our bye week, which was, again, let's make sure that we take care of business, go on the road, win this football game, take a break, heal up, and then get ready for the stretch run. So we have, I've met with the captains when we came back. They had most of the weekend off. We brought them back on Sunday, but met with the captains and just talked to them a little bit about kind of leadership and just kind of where we're at within the season and all the things that are important moving forward. And I think that the most important thing for us is we know what's in front of us, but it's also important for us to take it 1 week at a time. I know it's going to sound cliche-ish, but we again, it's going to be, every game is tough in this league. We got to concentrate on Nebraska-Kearney, and we've had a really good week, I think, of practice, of preparation. And I do think that our batteries were recharged. Not that we needed them recharged, but anytime we played in a lot of close games. Think about that too. And been in a lot of physical games that just gives guys that a breath of fresh air, I guess, coming back ready to work. And we just talked to the captains about that too, and I think they did a really good job of setting the tone this week.
It's something that I brought up a couple weeks ago with Northwest Missouri. They're going to breathe fire on us. Do you feel like because of the spot that you guys are in, do you feel like most teams are going to be like that now to try to knock you guys off?
No question. I think that you're exactly right, and we. I've talked to our guys about that too. We're going to get everybody's best effort. Again, Kearney's a very good football team, and they very easily could be setting at 6-1. Big win last week. Anytime you get a win like that, brings a lot of momentum to your team, and I know that it's important for them to feed off that momentum, and we're going to have to battle that. Yeah, I think you're right though. And then you add that just what you said about us having a target. A 6-1 team coming in there. Coach Held and his staff, that they haven't been there very long, so they're trying to get that program going again. So this would be a big win for their football program.
Obviously, as you always say, you've been doing this a long time. Just how do you, as a coach, keep those guys motivated during the stretch run and just kind of keep them up and keep the morale going? Do you say things differently? Does your philosophy change at this time of the year? What's that like?
Well, I think every year's different, Vince. I think a lot of it has to do kind of where you're setting at. We're setting at 6-1. I've been pretty hard on them, to be quite honest with you, pushing them and. A lot of that's kind of how I am anyway, but also I think depending on what your situation is at that point in time in the season, to either pull back or keep the foot on the gas and really push them. And that's kind of my thoughts right now is just talking to them about not getting complacent, okay, and not taking things for granted. I talk to the veterans about that a lot because those guys have been through games where, the last 2 years we've been 9-3, and we've lost some critical games where you could possibly say, not all of them, but possibly say there were games where we weren't ready to play the way we needed to play, and it kept us out of the playoffs, which ultimately is where we want to get to. So, that's kind of how I am a little bit. Is kind of where you're at within the season dictates kind of how you are as a head coach.
That's all I got, Coach. Really appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, Coach, a bit of a longer question here. How much do you scoreboard watch, especially Pitt versus UCO this weekend, and do you have a desired outcome? And a longer follow-up to that is the MIAA a three-bid league this year? Is that possible? Because I know it's a tough regional or whatever it's considered overall.
Yeah, I mean, our region is ridiculous. I will say that, honestly. And I know and our commissioner's leading the charge, but the playoff system in Division II to me is broken. So that brings me to my next answer is yes. I think this league is definitely a three-bid league. No question in my mind. And again, just being in this league as long as I have been, being around, being a head coach for as long as I have been. So that's my answer now. And what was these long answers now? I'm going to have to think. What was the first?
I know.
What was the first question?
Are you scoreboard watching UCO versus Pitt? Do you have a desired outcome there?
I don't. I really don't. I don't scoreboard watch. Now, again, there's times after the games I'll ask Dawn, hey, how'd the rest of the league shake out? Now, if you want to ask me what I did last Saturday, yeah, I did. I paid attention to the scores. Had no, wasn't wanting different teams to win, lose, whatever it might be. But I did follow a lot more last Saturday. Number one, because we weren't playing. It was nice to be relaxed on a Saturday, to be quite honest with you. All right, to just be a college football fan a little bit.
I love it. Vince kind of said something like this, but something I've been curious about lately is how much do you try to win playing Emporia State football versus just trying to win? Because you kind of see it when you have like an FCS versus a Power 5 team where they're pulling out all the stops to try to find a way. How do you balance that?
I mean, I don't know if this is kind of the answer you're looking for, but I don't know if there is balance to it. I think, again, just how the game's going is you always have to me, it's about your preparation, okay, and how you prepare for the game. And there's things that we've worked on throughout the course of the season. Maybe we haven't ran yet that you could run if you needed to try to win a football game, or even thinking about situational football, like the last two plays of a game, one play to win the game, all those things. I think it's important to practice those. I think it's important for your players to know what you're going to do in those situations. But also, it's very hard to simulate those types of situations, like really simulate it. And sometimes it's just, you got to go by your gut feeling and kind of how the game's playing out. But I guess that's my thought on it, is you're always trying to win no matter what. And I don't even know if I'm doing a very good job of answering this question, Landon. But am I doing all right?
Maybe a better non-press conference question to ask. But
I mean, if we were playing an FCS school, I guess I could be able to, answer that maybe a little bit better. But we're going to do everything in our power to win football games no matter what. And, you have to make decisions as a head coach, and that's tough, at times. And that's why you got to have great assistants, which I do. I got an outstanding staff, and I'm able to lean on those guys when I need to.